Well, Broncos country, it is about time. The Broncos got some really good news regarding how Drew Sanders is finally going to be used. It's about, 3 years too late, but here we are. Really, really interesting stuff at the combine today from both Sean Payton and George Payton. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about Drew Sanders and what does it mean for the inside linebacker room as a whole. So I think they love him. And as always, guys, it helped me out if you subscribe to the channel, if you love Denver sports, if you love NFL draft content. Well, be sure to give that subscribe a little smashy and a little like button, a little press. I appreciate y'all in advance. And let's get right to it. So, what was said at the combine? Well, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna break it down for you right here. Let's see what was said. Start the video. Here we go. Come on.
Right now, inside, we're talking about Drew. And last year, we kind of went into the offseason with the edge idea, and then we've kind of progressed enough to where he's gonna work inside. It's kind of how the season finished too. So we're gonna keep him right there.
We think Sanders can be a starter in this league at linebacker. Now, let's see how it goes. We're going to keep adding good players. Competition. We just want competition at all the positions. So we're not anointing anyone starters, but we just want to keep bringing in competition, and we'll get good results.
Well, there it is. There it is, guys. And obviously, is Drew Sanders going to be a solution at inside linebacker? Probably not, right? Hope is not a strategy. I hope he can be really good there. But it's really nice to hear them finally admit that they're going to utilize him in the position where they really probably should have used him from the beginning for a lot of different reasons. He was someone when he was coming out of Arkansas, obviously he played at Alabama before that. Yeah, he had some ability to rush the passer, but it never made sense why they wanted to use him at edge. Firstly, we were really stacked at edge, to be completely frank with you. We just had a lot of really good players at edge at the time, especially with, Nick Bonito coming along into his own. We had just drafted him, previously. We even signed Randy Gregory, if you guys remember. It was a terrible decision, but that year. So it never really made sense. And we had Baron Browning still on the roster at the time. So it never really made sense to me. Why are they going to use him at edge? But ultimately, they decided to do so. Another thing is, too, guys, arm length is something that's actually a metric that's extremely relevant for edge guys. And even though he's, at 6 foot, 3/8 of an inch, 235, he's got good enough size to be an edge. But he definitely never had the length. And he wasn't that he was very raw as an edge player. He was a very good off-ball linebacker, so I never understood that. And in addition, he's somebody that from a RAS score, if you look at the relative athlete score, which is a pretty cool metric, he's an absolute monster of an athlete. Somebody his size, ran a 4.6 40-yard dash. I don't think the 2.6. Oh, no, the 1.61 on the 10-yard split. It's got really, really explosive for a guy like that. His 3-cone was a little bit frustrating, I would say, overall. But his shuttle grade was good. And just overall, an explosive athlete, 37-inch vertical. So somebody that I really feel like, man, I loved the makeup. I loved what he was about. Obviously, very unfortunate with the injuries that he's gone through in the last couple of years. If he can really, really utilize this offseason to finally get healthy, have a full offseason in the Broncos program, I think he could be a very, very good player. At minimum, I see him being like an elite special teamer, but someone that can certainly contribute on defense. And in addition to that, if you guys don't remember, the Broncos, they really rushed him back way too early last year. Let's face it. He probably should not have been playing. But obviously they saw something in him and the way in which they wanted to utilize him that said, you know what, even if he's not at 100%, we want to be able to play him. So it's going to be nice to finally feel like Drew Sanders has a home, right? He's at a position that he should be playing, and there's a continuity in terms of the way in which he's going to go about being utilized. So I can always appreciate that, and I love that. I think they did him a disservice by placing him at edge and not really having him find a home. But it is what it is. The injuries didn't help either, so happy to hear that. So inside linebacker is, like I've said before, in my opinion, the second biggest need on this team behind tight end. So it's just really nice to be able to have somebody that's on your team, under contract, that's still a very young player that you drafted, that you're going to be giving an opportunity to go in there and at least compete for a inside linebacker position, or at least a decent amount of snaps there. But don't get it twisted. The Broncos are addressing this position in free agency 100%, and they're also going to be addressing it in the draft. I'll be shocked if they don't. So stay tuned for that. We'll have all of the latest. Otherwise, everything else from the combine, guys, I mean, you know, you read through the tea leaves a little bit, you can kind of see, right? The Broncos are going to select a running back in the draft at some point this year. That's not really breaking news, but that was like essentially confirmed. They talked about being interested in wanting to bring DJ Jones back. We like him. They like him at a certain price. I don't think he's worthy of bringing back. Unless you're going to get him on a very cheap deal, I think you're better off spending resources elsewhere. But we'll see how that unfolds. And then obviously they got to get something done with Cortland Sutton. The combine is always a really exciting time of the year, not just because of, you know, the players and the workouts and the measurables and all that kind of cool stuff that, you know, us draft fans geek out on, but it's really where a lot of different transactions happen, especially with trades, right? With the Russell Wilson trade. Yes, we get how bad it was, but that really came to fruition at the combine. You know, which free agents that they're going to be really interested in, or getting a feel for what the cap number is going to look like for those guys, right? Like what kind of contracts are they going to be looking for? What's the market showing? Those are big. Making a lot of progress on, you know, your own internal free agents. So, you know, I think the Broncos and Cortland Sutton are ultimately going to get something done. If they don't get it done before free agency, in my opinion, I think it's one of those things where they might drag it along, or they might want to kind of wait and see what happens in terms of in free agency or in the draft. And if they want to ultimately give them an extension or maybe rework the deal, or, you know, potentially move on from them, even though I think that's a really low chance. So lots of interesting things there, man. I think it's going to be an awesome week. I'm looking forward to watching these guys work out. And I'm curious to know, who are you looking forward to seeing the most at the combine, whether it be their 40-yard dash time, somebody's measurements, their arm length, their hand length, whatever it might be. Let me know in the comments below, man. I'm curious to know you guys' thoughts. And but that's all we got today, man. Short video today. Y'all take it easy. Spend time with those people that you love the most. Go Broncos. And until next time, peace out.